Good morning to all. Today we are going to start a new lesson, magnetism and matter. In this lecture, I am going to cover the following topics: magnetism, bar magnet, magnetic field lines and its properties, bar magnet as an equivalent solenoid, difference and similarities between bar magnets and solenoid. Now, magnetism. As you all know that the magnetic substances are attracted by a magnet like iron, nickel, cobalt, etc. So any body possessing the property of magnetism is called a magnet. Magnet is a material which attracts all other magnetic substances. Magnetic pole is a point near the end of a magnet where magnetism is concentrated, or we can say that the point on the magnet at which the magnetism is concentrated is known as the magnetic pole, either North Pole or South Pole. Earth is a natural magnet. About the magnetism of Earth, we will study in the next lectures. Now, region around a magnet in which it exerts force on other magnets and objects made of iron is called a magnetic field. Or in other words, we can say that magnetic field is a region near a magnet in which any other magnetic material experiences magnetic force. It is this chapter is quite similar to the electrostatic. In the electrostatic, the electric field we have studied. Electric field is the region nearby a charge in which any other charge experiences a force. Here the magnetic field is the region near a magnet in which any other magnet experiences a force. Now, properties of a bar magnet. In previous classes, you have studied that a freely suspended magnet aligns itself along north-south direction. That is, if you suspend a magnet, then automatically it will align towards the geographic north and geographic south. Unlike poles attract each other, like poles repel each other. Magnetic poles always exist in pairs. It is very important property that a monopole does not exist. If you have a magnet and if you want to cut it from in between to separate the two poles, it is not possible, because as soon as you will cut a magnet, again the two pieces will become two full magnets, that is containing north and south pole. So you cannot separate north pole from the south pole. A magnet can induce magnetism in other magnetic substances. That means, as you have studied in the previous classes in 6th or 7th, that if you rub a magnetic material with a piece of magnet, then after some time the magnetic material will also get a property of the magnet, that is, it starts attracting any other magnetic material, and bar magnet attracts the magnetic substances. It is a very common property by which we can find out, or which we can know that this substance is a magnet. Repulsion is the surest test of magnetization. That means, if we have a piece of magnet and a magnetic material rod, and we want to find out that whether the given rod is a magnet or simple it is a piece of magnetic material, then only by the repulsion we can check it. Why? Because a magnet attracts iron rod as well as opposite pole of the other magnet. But if the other piece of rod is a magnet, then the same pole will repel each other. That means A magnet attracts iron rod as well as opposite pole of the other magnet. Therefore, it is not a sure test of magnetization. But if a rod is repelled with a strong force by a magnet, then the rod is surely magnetized. So that is why repulsion is the surest test of the magnetization. Representation of the uniform magnetic field. These representations we have used in the previous lesson also. That is, uniform magnetic field is represented by the parallel lines when the magnetic field is on the plane of the diagram. By the dot, the downward or the magnetic field is perpendicular and into the plane of the paper or downward. By the dot, the magnetic field is emerging out of the plane or upward. So by these three diagrams we can represent the direction of the magnetic field on the plane of paper. Now bar magnet. As you know that bar magnet is a rectangular or a square piece of an object made from iron or steel having permanent magnetic properties with two poles, north and south. So now if we join the two poles, now this is the diagram of a magnet. Here the two poles, south pole and the north pole. So the line joining the south pole and the north pole is the magnetic axis, and the distance between the two poles of the magnet is called the magnetic length of the magnet, while the distance between the ends of the magnet is the geometrical length. So there is a difference between the magnetic length and the geometric length. And from the figure it is also clear that magnetic length is always less than the geometric length, and their ratio is approximately 0.84. Now magnetic dipole and dipole moment. A pair of magnetic pole of equal and opposite strength separated by a finite distance is called a magnetic dipole. The definition is quite similar with the electric dipole, which you have studied in the first chapter, electrostatic. So in there we have studied the electric dipole. The equal and opposite charges are separated by a finite distance. In place of charges, here the equal and opposite strength of the magnetic poles are separated by a finite distance. And magnitude of the dipole moment, again it is a similar definition, that is product of the either pole strength and the separation between the two poles is the dipole moment. This is a magnetic dipole moment, and electric dipole moment, either charge and the separation between the charges. So there is quite similarity between the magnetic field, magnetism and the electrostatic. Now magnetic dipole moment M is M into 2L. Again the direction, magnetic dipole moment is a vector quantity, so it has a direction. Direction is from south pole to north pole. In case of electric dipole, the direction was from negative to positive. So here from south to north along the axis of the magnet. SI unit of the pole strength is ampere meter, and SI unit of the dipole moment is ampere meter square. Now properties of magnetic field lines around a bar magnet. Now this is the diagram of a bar magnet. This side is north and south, and this diagram you have seen in the previous classes also, that the magnetic field lines are drawn just like a curve. So what are the magnetic line of force? Magnetic lines of force may be defined as the curve, the tangent to which at any point give the direction of the magnetic field at that point. So these are the curves, or magnetic field lines are represented by the curved line, and at every point the tangent gives the direction of the magnetic field. Or in other words, we can also say that magnetic field lines as the path along which a unit north pole would tend to move if it is free to do so. I think in case of the electric line of force, we have given the same definition. The difference is of only the charge and the poles. Here, in case of the electric field lines, they are the imaginary path along which a unit positive charge would tend to move if it is free to do so. Here, these are the imaginary path along which a unit north pole would tend to move if it is free to do so. Now, properties of magnetic lines of force. They very quite similarity between the electric lines of force. The magnetic lines of force are continuous, just like electric lines of force. But here they are the closed curves. Electric lines of forces are not the closed curve. They start from positive and ends to the negative. Here also they originate from the north pole and terminate at the south pole, but inside the magnet they move from south to north, and always the magnetic lines of force forms the closed curves. Like the electric lines of force, the two magnetic lines of force do not intersect each other. Why they do not intersect each other? Because if they do so, then at the point of intersection, we will have two tangents showing the two directions of the magnetic field at the same point, which is not possible. So they do not intersect each other. They are crowded where the magnetic field is strong, that is near the poles. From the diagram it is clear that near the poles their magnetic field lines are crowded. So just by seeing that if the magnetic field lines are crowded means magnetic field is stronger, here the magnetic field is weaker. Now let us discuss the bar magnet as an equivalent solenoid. So let us again recall what is bar magnet and what is solenoid. Now bar magnet, just told you, it is a rectangular or a square piece of an object made from iron or steel having permanent magnetic properties with two poles north and south. While in case of solenoid, it is a coil with the length greater than its diameter, and it is a type of electromagnet to produce control magnetic field by passing an electric current through it. So solenoid, it is a type of electromagnet. Bar magnet has a permanent magnetic properties. So this is the difference between the bar magnet and solenoid. Now we will discuss that bar magnet is similar to the solenoid. For this, we will derive the magnetic field, or we will calculate the axial field of a finite solenoid carrying current. Bar magnet can be demonstrated as solenoid. So for this, let us consider that this is a solenoid. P is the point along the axis. This is the axis, and P is a point at a distance r from the center of solenoid. Now we want to find the magnetic field at this point. For this, let us consider a ring. The ring is shown by the red color. So let us consider a small element of thickness dx of solenoid at a distance x from O. So from the center point at a distance x, this is a small thickness element of thickness dx at a distance x such that OP is equal to R. So now we will calculate the magnetic field at point P. For this, now as you know that magnetic field due to n turns at the axis of solenoid. Now here we have taken a single ring, and we know that a current carrying coil, the magnetic field at the axis point of a current carrying coil, which we have discussed in the previous chapter. We have derived the formula. Using the same formula, the magnetic field due to N turns at the axis of the solenoid is given by this expression, that is dB is equal to mu naught N dx IA square upon 2 R minus x whole square plus A square complete power 3 by 2. This is a small magnetic field due to a single current carrying coil. Now integrating it from minus L to L. Minus L to L because we have taken the point at the center, and this is extending from minus L to plus L. So integrating it from minus L to L to get the magnetic field, total magnetic field. So B is equal to mu naught N IA square upon 2 integrating from minus L to plus L dx upon R minus x whole square plus A square power 3 by 2. Now again, let us consider the axial field of the solenoid. Now since in the case of solenoid, its length is very larger in comparison to its diameter. So here R is very larger than A, and also R is very larger than L, the length of the solenoid. Here the point we are taking is very far away from the center of the solenoid. Then the denominator can be reduced to equal R cube. So in this expression, in place of the denominator, we can write R cube, and since we are integrating with respect to x, so R cube is a constant, so it comes out from the integrating sign, and the formula reduces, or the expression reduces to this. Again integrating the complete dx, result is x from minus L to L by putting the limits, that is L minus of minus L will equal to 2L. So when you put this, you will get the expression mu naught Ni 2L A square upon R cube. Now note that magnetic field of the magnetic moment of the solenoid. Now magnitude of the magnetic moment. Now magnetic moment, that is M is equal to IA. I means the total current, N number of turns per unit length. So if you multiply it by the total length, then this N into 2L is the total number of turns, multiplying by the current, that is I, and area by A is square. So this is the magnetic moment of the current, means in place of this expression we can write M. So using this in this expression, so this reduces to B is equal to mu naught, and after putting it in it, multiply by 2 numerator and denominator and reduce it. B is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi 2m upon R square. Now this expression is same for the axial magnetic field of a bar magnet, that is the magnetic field due to a bar magnet at its axial point. So we can say that bar magnet and a solenoid both produces similar magnetic field. The magnetic moment of a bar magnet is thus equal to the magnetic moment of an equivalent solenoid that produces the same magnetic field. So in this way we can say that bar magnet is equivalent to solenoid. Now though it is equivalent to solenoid, but still the bar magnet and solenoid has little differences. So let us see what are these differences. Now bar magnet is a permanent magnet, whereas solenoid is an electromagnet, that is it acts like a magnet only when an electric current is passed through it. So this is an important difference. Bar magnet is a permanent magnet and solenoid is an electromagnet. The second difference, when a bar magnet is cut into two halves, then both the pieces act as a magnet with the same magnetic properties. That is, if you cut a bar magnet into two halves, then the magnetic strength of each pole will be same. Whereas in case of a solenoid, if you cut it into two halves, they will have weaker fields. The third difference is the poles of the bar magnet are fixed, whereas for a solenoid the poles can be altered. If you reverse the direction of the current, then the poles will be altered, means north pole will become south pole and south pole will become north pole, while in case of the bar magnet it is not so. Next difference, the strength of the magnetic field of a bar magnet is fixed, that is unaltered. पोल्स भी फिक्स्ड है और उनकी स्ट्रेंथ भी फिक्स्ड है. While in case of the magnetic field of a solenoid, it depends upon the electric current that passes through it. So these are the differences between a bar magnet and a solenoid. They have some similarities also. Bar magnet and solenoid both have attractive and directive properties, that is, align itself along the external magnetic field. The magnetic field at the axial point is same for both. The magnetic moment is same for both. So these are the similarities. Now, these are few questions for the assignment. These questions are taken from the NCERT textbook. Try to find the answer. These are the conceptual questions only. So try to find the answer of these questions, and if you have any problem, you are free to discuss with me at any time. Thank you.